Hey y'all, how you doing? Okay, I'm having a good hair day, so I thought I'd do a video for you. I wanted to talk a little bit about leveraging the social sites and specifically with your paid ads. So a lot of you are asking about Facebook ads. You're doing them and this is all great. But one thing that I want you to remember is for you to always remember two things. First of all, when you run those ads and they come into your sphere, make sure you have a plan to do something with that. So depending on whether you're using command or not, that means making sure they get put on a campaign right away. And you really got to call these people, text them, whatever it is, so they hear your voice. Because remember, they don't always see the email right away. If you do capture their telephone numbers, call them, send them a text with a video. That I think is going to be the real key first step to building that relationship with them. So the second thing with the paid ads, let me just share something that I experienced when I was working with my video marketer guy years ago. And the reason I want to share this with you is so you understand the history of paid ads and then can anticipate some possibilities that might happen with something like Facebook. So Google, in the beginning, they used different means for deciding which results showed on that first page in the top 10, right? It was keywords, it was backlinks, and there was a lot of emphasis put on SEO to get your site up to the top. So naturally, people wanted to game the system and do some shortcuts. And they did keyword stuffing, they hid the keywords in the banners and in the backgrounds, and then they manipulated the backlinks. So what was happening is not necessarily the best sites were actually getting to the top because they figured out a way to game the system. This happens all the time, right? And it still happens today. So what Google did, you have to remember why they're in business. They're in business to provide value to their clients, the people that come in, our customers, the people that come in and search. So they want the best results at the top. So they adjust their algorithms and they want to get that best thing, right? So what happened after all these people were gaming the system is they said, okay, slap. We had the panda, the penguin, the hummingbird, all these different things where Google was making adjustments on the back end to improve the results on the front. But what happened inadvertently is the bad sites got away, but also some really good sites lost rank as well. Now, that's something that nobody has control of, and that's the first lesson. You don't have control over what these other sites do. So if Google or Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whomever decides to do something, you don't have control over that. So always keep that forefront. You want to leverage them as much as possible, but temper how much control you give to them over building your business. Okay, so always keep that in mind. So Google, all these people lost page rank. Some deserved it, some not. Now here's what I learned during that time. The person I worked with, his business was not affected at all. He still had the leads coming in. He still had, everything. It wasn't even a problem. So we went into, I went into the backside and looked at his analytics. And here's what I learned. He didn't lose any business because people were not searching. They were not coming into his world because they were searching for video or whatever the keyword was. They were searching for him. The top 10 to 20 keywords that were being used to find his business were his name, his product, his business. So it was branding, right? So the branding was protected him from these algorithm changes on the platforms that he was using. As a side note, he was also using video. So that's really key. So branding and building relationships with your clients is super, super important. Now the other thing with Google, here's another thing we saw. So again, understand the history to see where some of these platforms might be going. Google and Facebook and Instagram are not in the business of helping you grow their business, your business. They are leveraging your efforts just as much as we are leveraging their efforts. Nothing evil about that, it's just the way it is. But their end game is to provide value to their customers and also to build their businesses, okay? Always remember that. So Google, what they did is, so they, developed their algorithms and got better at bringing those top 10 results in. And then people were paying for ads. So now you had maybe the first 2 to 4 spots on the very top were people that paid to be there, pay to play, right? So that became more prevalent, and there was some angst around that, but it just is what it is. You don't have control over it, so you pay to play, right? Nothing wrong with that. So the next step was now Google started investing in or purchasing companies to put their products at that top spot, right? Real quick example, go into Google and search for the best flights, and you're gonna see Google flights come at the top. I think cars were another one, travel and shopping, right? The shopping cart. So as much as possible, now what you are most likely to see when you go into the search is you'll see Google properties, you'll see paid ads, and then you'll start seeing the rankings. They're building their business, they're working to build a better experience for their customers, and you may or may not be in that first page depending on what you do. So once again, very important to constantly be building your name recognition, building your brand, and also building the relationship with your people, okay? The other thing, and this is the last thing because I don't want to go too much on this, and I think they talked about this at Family Reunion, but I've also heard this a couple times since from people that are like really well known in the marketing world. These devices that we're talking into, Series 1, and then they have the one that lays around your house. We don't have them here because if I ever murder my husband, I don't want anybody to hear it. Just kidding. So the voice recognition. Think about what would be the most likely way that they are going to determine which results or who they're going to give results for. If somebody says, hey Siri, who's the best realtor in blank, and then fill in the location. Are they gonna say, hey Jane, the top 10 realtors are da 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 da? Probably not. Maybe they'll give you the top 3, I don't know, or they may just say so-and-so is the top realtor in that area, okay? So then, and this is what we don't know, how is Siri and all the other voice recognition devices going to determine who they're going to say? How are they going to answer that question? Who determines that? Do we? Does the customer? Or does Google and Facebook and all of that? We don't know. So the one thing that people have suggested over and over is what you would rather have them say is, rather than who's the best realtor in Toledo, Ohio, you want them to say, hey, call John Ruckemeyer in Toledo, Ohio, right? Your name, right? Then they are going to give back your name. So as your coach has been telling you, the reviews, right? Maybe that'll come into play, maybe it won't, but it's certainly not going to hurt. Your 36 touch, your 10, 25, 90 plans, all those things where you're building relationships. You're doing it for a reason, right? Remember, right now, we leverage the technology that we can. We leverage the social platforms, all with the intention of building your brand and building the relationship of the people that come into your world, okay? So I hope that's helpful. I've really been thinking a lot about that over the last couple weeks. I'll be doing some more public trainings on this, but you guys get this first. Okay, so enjoy your week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.